Hey, everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Bremen Theater podcast. My name is Sean. I'm one of the owners of the Bremen Theater in marvelous Bremen, Indiana. So, what I want to do is use this platform to kind of talk about either movie reviews, what's going on, some behind the scenes stuff with the theater. We can discuss financials globally, domestically, and how we stack up our theater at times in comparison to what's happening by and large with whatever film we're running, especially when it is a new release title. So we can just kind of dive right into that. For the last 2 weeks, we've been running Tron Ares. It's a new film from Disney in the Tron franchise. This is the third movie in the franchise, starring Jared Leto and Greta Lee. You probably don't know who that is, but you probably know who Jared Leto is just by cultural osmosis. He's been in a lot of things. Whether or not he's a leading man, that's something else entirely. I sort of don't think at any point in his career he's ever really been a draw. And I think that's ultimately why this movie financially may have not done so great, is the lack of like a true movie star Hollywood presence at the forefront of this one. Additionally, it's not a director that I'm familiar with, and as of right now, as I'm recording this, without cheating and looking online, I don't even know who directed it. The score, if you even want to call it that, the soundtrack is from Nine Inch Nails, and it's awesome. I will say it's probably one of the greatest auditory experiences in a movie theater that I've had. And when this one picks up, the colors hit you right away. The atmosphere is there, and when that music hits, your jaw just really drops. And ultimately too, it's unlike anything I've ever heard or seen before, which is really saying something. And I think that is something that a lot of people missed out on, especially looking at the box office numbers for this for us locally, nationally, and even worldwide. Not great. It's gonna definitely end up being a flop for Disney financially. And ultimately, whose fault is that? Other than people that didn't go out to watch it in the theater. Ultimately they waited 15 years between the last movie to make a sequel. Kind of like I was talking about the box office numbers. And this is recorded on Sunday, October 19th at 6 p.m. And at this point, they've gotten an estimated $102.9 million worldwide. And only 54.5 million of that came domestically, which means in the United States. The rest of that comes from international markets. Typically, Europe and Asia is really where we're pulling from there. Which I'm a little surprised that this didn't do better, especially in Japan, Korea, China, and those countries tend to really love some high concept sci-fi. But yeah, this didn't do great in general, and it didn't do great for us. We've had it for 2 weeks, and to pull the curtain aside. We pulled in $697 between card and cash transactions. This includes movie tickets and concessions. And then you see that $9.22 bogey. That is the fees that go directly to Square anytime a card transaction is processed. So they are taking a percentage of each transaction plus 10 cents. Usually it's like I want to say like 2.6% plus 10 cents per transaction. So, us being a movie theater, it's not so bad. But when you start, getting into larger businesses that are using the Square platform, that are doing multiple hundreds of dollars per transaction, it can become quite pricey. That's why cash is king to small business. But of that, we sold 51 movie tickets in 2 weeks for $306. But, like I mentioned before, the studio on average on a new release is usually around 60%. Some movies I've seen as high as like 62, 63%, and others down sub 60, but on average we're talking 60% here. So if you just kind of take into consideration that of the $306 that we grossed on movie tickets, $184 of that is going back to the studio. So, that's money that we're essentially holding on to for them. But we that's part of the deal. So we don't look at that 60% as money lost. It's money that goes to the studio. So of what we grossed for these 2 weeks, after you take out the studio's cut, if you will, Big Hollywood wants their money. We're at $503.78. That is the dollar amount that we are working with now. If you want to start talking about, quote unquote profit, I'm going to go through here in just a second and kind of explain how this dollar figure then is divvied up. And I'm not even going to go into the full nitty gritty of, what a Pepsi order looks like and what a concession order looks like. Ultimately with concession and Pepsi, those are two different companies that we're using, one for popcorn candy and cups and all that stuff, and then you've also got your Pepsi, so I'll probably take you through what that looks like. I'm not taking that out of this dollar figure. Now, in the last 2 weeks, we did pay our September utilities, just because you're billed for the previous month and the month that you're in. We always take that out of the current month. So, obviously we're taking $233.48 off of our 2 week total here. And that takes us down to $270.38. Again, that is what we pulled in minus what goes to the studio, and now minus what goes to the city of Bremen for utilities. And that's, obviously we need to keep the lights on and the water flowing. And that is exactly what does that. And this does not include the gas bill of $75, which I probably should do another slide where I take that $75 out of there, because even if you use 15 cents of gas, you're still paying $75 minimum for the infrastructure. So they always get their cut no matter what. So at this point, we're at $270.38. And the next category that we get into is how we keep these delicious Pepsis cold, and that is with ice. In a 2 week period, on average, we're using about $60 worth of ice. We do not have an ice machine on site. We are using, there are a couple of ice machines in the region that offer bulk ice, so we are doing it that way. We do not have room on top of our Pepsi equipment for the ice maker. That was something I looked into, but we just don't have the room for the darn thing. So, obviously we have to do it this way. This is, again, about an average cost for 2 weeks between a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, $10 a day. All right, so after you take the ice out of the equation, we are down to $210.38. Again, this is just for the 2 weeks that we've had Tron. And the $40 of film delivery, what that means is it costs $40 per film that we run for them to deliver to us the hard drive with the film on it. Non-negotiable. So $40. Down now to $170.38. and that is before we place a Pepsi order and before we place a concession order. That is our 2 week dollar amount total after having run Tron. Now, I'm trying to understand like what the problem was with this movie. Is it Jared Leto? Do people not like him? Do they not understand, why he was in a lead role in a movie? Because when I went through, you can kind of see him surfing through, with the exception of Morbius. There's very little that he's in where he is the central character. Like, Suicide Squad, he plays the Joker, but nobody's showing up for the Joker. He's barely in the dang thing, for crying out loud. One of his greater roles is Paul Allen in American Psycho, and he just gets chopped up by Christian Bale with an axe. It looks to me like one of the better things that he's ever done is being the supporting actor in My So-Called Life from the mid-90s. But again, he's not this huge actor. He is going to be Skeletor in Masters of the Universe, which I thought is, super bizarre. I mean, I think he'll be a great Skeletor, but he gets top billing, which is super strange. He's not even the main guy. In fact, the guy that plays He-Man is like the fourth or fifth person down the list.
I said, are you ready? How you doing, San Francisco? We had to come and say hello and say thank you so much for coming to very few people in the world have seen this movie. I'm telling you, you're some of the first, and thank you so much for being here tonight. This is Tron Ares. I hope you're in the right theater. I saw the movie in the theater when I was just a kid. I was around 10 or 11. It was 1982. That's how old I am. And I walked into this movie and it changed my life. I loved it. I love the technology, the creativity. I love Jeff Bridges, the best in the world. And it was something like I'd never seen before. So for me, this is such a childhood dream to be here, to be celebrating. And thank you all for showing up tonight on the very first night that the movie's in theaters. And I hope you enjoy it. Have a lot of fun, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Are you ready? Oh, come on. Are you ready? Tron Ares, we love you. Thank you so much.
Ultimately, one of the things I want you to realize, too, is he's got some very, very white shoes on, and he, for whatever reason, does not want to set the front portion of his foot down. He just kind of pivots it around on his heel a bunch. I thought that was kind of strange, but that is Jared Leto after all. But, ultimately, I think as it boils down to what went wrong with this movie, I'm not too sure. I'd love to hear from the folks in town about, what it was about this movie that didn't necessarily speak to them. Because ultimately we want to bring in movies that you're going to come and watch, because, for us to run a theater, we obviously need to show movies that people want to come to. As far as 2 week totals goes, we had 51 total people. That is our lowest new release 2 week engagement since we opened in May. The other, low attendance films of new releases from 2025 would have been The Conjuring at like 159, I want to say. And the initial weekend that we were open, or our initial film of Thunderbolts, we did 175 people. Every other 2 week engagement, we've definitely done over 200 people. So this was definitely shockingly bad for us. And we just kind of want to know if it's Jared Leto. Let us know that, because we will not invite this dude into our theater again. If it's, it's just that time of year where we've got high school football, we've got college football, we've got the changing of the seasons. You're trying to enjoy the last couple nice days. Marching band, you've got soccer going on. There's some volleyball going on. If it's, if you're too darn busy, let us know that as well. And if we need to do something to entice those athletes to get out to the movies when they have an opportunity, wear your jersey in, get a free popcorn or something to that regard. Because obviously, just because it's the fall season doesn't mean we don't want to be engaged with the community. So if it's a combination of things, you didn't know what Tron was, and that's why you didn't come see it, or if it was just we're too busy right now. I could do a full last 4 weeks, and we've really struggled since the end of September. We brought in Spider-Man for a couple of weeks. Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, that original trilogy, didn't do great. We did 33 total people the first week. Nobody came the second week to see any of the 3 Spider-Man films, which was nuts. Couldn't believe it. But that second week we had the Taylor Swift movie. We were a little surprised by the low attendance on that, because you hear about the Taylor Swift economy. And I can tell you in Bremen, the Taylor Swift economy is not alive and well. We had 12 people for that. So for the last 4 weeks that we have been open, we have serviced, or we have had attendance of paid ticket attendance of less than 100 people. And that's a pretty rough run for us. And when I talked to Hino, he kind of mentioned that this time of year he would typically shut down for a couple of weeks just because there's not a lot of good stuff coming out from Hollywood that's new. And then with all the fall activities, back to school, and everything that goes along with that, there is just kind of a slump before you get kind of into that holiday season where they drop a couple big ones. We'll have Wicked Part 2, Wicked for Good, coming out at the end of November. But we've got some kind of neat stuff coming in between now and then, so we'll see how that stuff does. But ultimately, we want to make sure that what we're bringing to the town is stuff that you want to see. And ultimately, too, and I say this from in the best way possible. We only want to bring in movies that are exciting for either everyone in town, or obviously we think if we're going to bring a movie and screen it, put it on the screen for you. If it's an older film, we truly believe that everything that we put on screen is definitely something worth going out of your way to seeing on the big screen. And I don't take my responsibility, I'll call it, as a curator of entertainment for the town of Bremen. I take that role very seriously. I do not take that lightly. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that if we have it, I see great value or a good reason why you should go out of your way to see that motion picture. And I'm, obviously saying this as a business owner too. I do want to make sure that the business stays cash flow positive so that we can stay in business. But ultimately, I do want you to understand that if we're going to have it, there's probably a good reason for it. Taylor Swift aside, we pivoted with Taylor Swift because we wanted to offer something for more folks. We did have more folks in, but if we had not pulled in that Taylor Swift movie, we would have had 3 days of zero attendance, which would have been a really hard pill for us to swallow. Because as of right now, we have not had a single day with 0 people. Taylor Swift kept us from having days with 0 people. So that was a big deal for us. But again, ultimately, we want to hear from you. We want to understand, if it is the seasonality of, we're just busier than heck, so we can't get in. We understand that. And, if this is a good time of year for us to shut down for a couple of weeks, do a little bit of preventative maintenance type projects on the building, do some deep cleaning, some paint touch-ups, things like that. If this is a good time of year for that, let us know that, because we would definitely take that time and try to maximize if we're going to have low attendance, just shutting down and doing some home improvement type stuff here at the theater to make sure that we're, looking good, feeling good, and always evolving for you. But ultimately, I think that'll be it for this first go around. I do plan to do this more often. Probably every film that we bring in, we'll do a review for it. We'll have Rex on these things. I just wanted to pop this thing up, go through it with you, see what you thought, and ultimately let you know that we'll be doing this type of thing moving forward. And maybe at the end of these, I'll drop a montage, one of my film montages on it, post it on YouTube for everybody to watch. So at the end of this one, I will put the video package that I ran in front of Tron, and it's a neat little sci-fi montage. So I'll drop that on here, and yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you. We've got Casper coming up here the week of the 24th, October 24th, 25th, 26th, just in time for spooky season. Bring out the kids. And this will be free admission thanks to Woody's Supermarket. They've been a lot of fun to work with. They'll have a nice Casper poster up in their checkout area. We've got one on the door, and that's a poster that I put together where it's got Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci shining a flashlight on the Woody's logo. And that was just fun placement, and I like doing stuff like that. So getting involved with the community is what we love to do, and making sure you guys have a fun, safe activity all throughout the year. After this coming weekend with Casper, we'll be into Back to the Future. We're going to run that the weekend of Halloween. Believe me, that is not my first choice for a movie during spooky season. But that is when Universal is releasing that, and we really wanted to show Back to the Future earlier in the year, but we couldn't do it because of this, so we figured if we couldn't run it in June or July when we initially wanted to, we will run it when it comes out, and it just so happens to be the weekend of Halloween, October 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd. And additionally, that week on October 29th, which is a Wednesday, at 7 p.m. we will run the 1978 classic from John Carpenter, Halloween, and we will also do a very special late show on Halloween night after we run Back to the Future at 7 p.m. At 10:30 we will run Halloween. So that is, kind of the perfect time of the evening to start that motion picture and get a little bit of seasonally appropriate, day appropriate spooking going on there with Michael Myers in one of the greatest Halloween slasher films of all time. And we're giving away a Michael Myers mask from our friends at Karma Records of Warsaw. They've given us a mask, and we will give that away at our Halloween night show. We'll do like our raffle tickets. When you walk through the door, you get your ticket for the movie, which is also a raffle ticket for the mask. You can buy extras if you want. And then with Back to the Future, we'll also be giving away a vinyl LP of the soundtrack. Again, that is from Karma Records, great business partner of ours, and we'll do a little bit of additional co-marketing with them leading up to the Halloween week. So we look forward to seeing everybody out here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be here at the Bremen Theater in great Bremen, Indiana. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Greetings, my friend. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. Intergalactic planetary, intergalactic planetary, intergalactic planetary, intergalactic.
I keep it going full speed. Too sweet to be sour, too nice to be me. I'm a tough guy style, I'm not too keen. Trying to change the world, I'm a plotting scheme. Mario C likes to keep it clean. Wanna shine like day someday. Keep on running 'cause that's my dream. Hitting both feet for sticking to me. When it comes to envy, all is green. Jealous of the rhyme and the rhyme routine. Take another dimension, new galaxy. Intergalactic planetary. Family to your old school hip hop. Kick off your shoes and relax your socks. The rhymes spread just like a box. Cause the music is loud like an electric shock. I am known to do the what?